Hello, Taurus. Thanks so much for joining me. This is JJ, and I'm here to bring you your July 2020 reading. Last but never least, dear Taurus. Right, so I'm using the England Alchemy Tarot deck, which is relatively new to me, but I'm really enjoying it, and I've come to understand the way in which cards like to appear. So unlike my Rider Waite where they fly out, the cards here creep out, and I think it's fitting because the illustrations on these cards are kind of creepy. So dear Taurus, how have you been? It's been such a long time since we connected. I decided to basically put up a video like 2 months ago, and then again last month as well, where I came and brought a collective reading for all signs and then your individual readings, all jam-packed into one long video. And I thought, okay, maybe that was a bit overwhelming, even though it was time-stamped. It probably wasn't the best format, but if you're curious, go ahead and check it out. Just to let you know, I also posted an all signs collective reading for this month. It's been up for 2 days. You can find it on my main channel page, but I'm also going to link to it in the description beneath. It will really give groundwork for this reading that I'm doing for you now, actually. A lot of recurring themes for a lot of the signs. And I think that's because we're starting to come together as a group. It's a little bit daunting for those of us that prefer to be alone and are having to cooperate now a bit more with all kinds of groups, right? So it's my intent today to read to Taurus Sun, Moon, and Rising. Too many cards there. Which cards wish to reveal themselves? Right? It's a bit hard to meditate on your sign as well, Taurus. There we go. 8 of Cups. Nothing too fancy about this deck, but here you go. Gaping hole of emotion. What is it that you are walking away from? What is it that has occurred over the last couple of months that has driven you to reconsider your emotional stance in regards to a situation? That situation could be career, relationship, spiritual growth, home. Of course, your situation is unique to yourself, and we can draw from the Universal Waite deck, which I have been doing as well, for other signs to give some more context around this. But if you happen to look at my July 2020 general reading as well, then you'll see that there were some themes that we touched upon, like Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde, which is just about to come to an end now. A lot of retrograde motion in the planets really emphasizes our need to have a look at all things lost, whether those things are lost within us or even certain things that are lost physically. And to also, be a bit more aware, especially around Venus retrograde periods, of the kind of people that walk into our lives, new people who may appear extremely charming and captivate you, but once you conclude your Venus retrograde period with that person, if you did decide to pursue them, suddenly you are asked to take off your rose-tinted glasses and see things with a different perspective. You'll be pushed to look at things very differently. And disappointment can follow. So that person may not be the same person you thought they were when they first walked into your life and you were extremely enthusiastic about each other. As we get to know each other, obviously, we begin to formulate our own opinions, and people begin to formulate opinions about us as well. So we may have looked very charming and appealing, and we may have thought, oh yes, or our the friends, our new friendships may have thought that they've hit jackpot with us, only to start to have different feelings. And what do we do with that? Because, well, even though the Eight of Cups talks about accumulated investment, emotional investment, something that does require a very, very long time to build up. So with the Eight of Cups, we aren't just talking about new relationships coming out of nowhere, which is very possible during the retrograde period, of course. But we could be talking about relationships that have started to stifle you in one way or another. Oh. So, Taurus, is there anything that you want to talk about? I mean, talk being, I think, probably a lot better than all of this mental anguish and torment that you're putting yourself through time and time again, night after night, wondering where it was you went wrong, or when did things start to go south, right? They say good things don't ever last. Well, I like to look at it this way. With difficult cycles come new beginnings thereafter. There's always something to learn from. Our most negative experiences often have a lot more to teach us about positive experiences. However, our negative experiences also have a horrible way of clinging on to us, and as such, we give them more weight than we do the positive experiences. It will definitely do you good, of course, to think back to positive experiences and reflect within yourself what of those positive experiences you wish to have more of in the future. And I say this because I think we owe it to ourselves not to forget the good things that have happened to us, despite all the things that are starting to unfold now. I, of course, don't know what is happening with you, for some uncanny reason as well. Honestly, I don't remember the last time I spoke to a Taurus friend of mine. And could that be because you are going into your own hermetic period? I don't know. But what is it really that has been consuming you? And this is mental torment. I hate this card. I prefer the Ten of Swords over this card. It's very difficult to get ourselves out of this obsessive mental loop that just keeps playing over and over and over again. Whether it's something really hurtful that someone said to us and we just can't let go of this thought. We start beating ourselves up over it, even though deep down inside you may not even be convinced that you did anything wrong at the time, right? There's a lot of manipulative play that comes with words. And I think one of the hardest lessons for us to learn is to be empowered in our own thoughts and in the words that we put out there. It's becoming so much more obvious to me as time goes by that the more negative we are with ourselves and self-defeating with ourselves, to have these self-limiting thoughts, the harder it is for us to get where we need to be on a spiritual level as well. And so it becomes difficult for other people as well to look at us and see the happy people that they want to see. And Taurus, when you have a good time, you have a really great time, right? And you're not short of wanting positive experiences and usually having these experiences. But boy, oh boy, when things don't start to go the way that you want, the world gets flipped upside down because you give it your all usually, right? Especially in relationships, when you love someone. You don't have to wait for them to tell you, for them to tell you that they love you before you blurt it out. You probably already have that feeling brewing inside of you for weeks before anyone decides to own up that they feel the same way about you too. Part of you has always been a bit cautious, like you want to play it safe, but you also throw yourself in the deep end, emotionally speaking. You invest, and you have so much faith and hope in people. And that's such a wonderful quality, Taurus. It really is, because it means that you're the last person to give up. So when I see this card, I think, boy oh boy, did someone really mess with you for you to think it might not even be worth pursuing them anymore? Would really appreciate some feedback, actually. I'd love to hear from my fellow Taurians out there if I've hit the nail on the head here, or if I'm completely way off. Okay, I spoke about this in relation to romantic relationships, but I could honestly be way off here, because this could be talking about relationship with your own kids even, which is not romantic, but you're still very much tied to your children. It could also be talking about endings in another way, or having to walk away from another kind of investment. We emotionally invest in more than just our relationships. So let me know what you think about this reading. I know that it was a short one. A lot of you are used to my long, drawn-out readings. Have a look at that general reading if you want a bit more, if you want to see a bit more cards come out. And perhaps it will be comforting as well to see what other people are going through as well. Because you're not in this alone, Taurus. You're not. A lot of us have been feeling a bit down these days. The energies really just not have been so heavy, and I'm just only thankful really that Jupiter has started to help us see that there's light at the end of the tunnel. But aside from that, massive shifts happening, and people rioting and ending relationships and ending jobs and businesses crashing, and it's just really not been an easy time. So I also want to thank you so much for your support and for encouraging me to do these readings as well. I have been having a hell of a time myself. It's not been easy. It's been difficult coming to these readings as well. Hey, my heart is on, I bear all usually when I come to these readings, and so it's not fair for me to lie, right? It's been difficult as well for me, as I'm sure it has been for so many people out there, but it's important for us to recognize what makes us stronger, and all of our emotions right now will make us stronger. We will learn from the good as much as we will learn from the bad, and we will come out of this much stronger. You just have to believe. So thanks again for being here. Much love, a lot of love to you guys. Take good care of yourselves. Bye for now.